Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another awesome model to take a look at, something that I know many people were very excited about, very interested in. You may not be able to see it currently because of the positioning of the box, but if we move it over, you can see the W Dragon logo up there because we have the newest version of the Tyrannosaurus Rex from W Dragon. This was their attempt at more of an accurate version rather than the Jurassic Park version that we get quite often. And you can see again in the bottom right hand corner, 1/35th scale PVC Tyrannosaurus Rex. And we've got a gorgeous image here on the front of the box with a skeletal reconstruction of the T-Rex, and then if we take a look at the top of the box, you've got, again, Tyrannosaurus Rex here running across the top, but you can see kind of like a light image there of the model itself, which I'm super excited to take a look at here with you guys. It looks extremely, extremely cool, especially in this image, but just from the images that I've seen from it so far. And then here on the back of the box, we've got a little bit more going on as far as like a different positioning to see the skeletal reconstruction yet again of the T-Rex. I love that they just kind of tease you with the figure without flat out showing it on the box. That's pretty cool. Again, I'm really excited to take a look at this one. Cannot wait to pop this box open, so let's do that right now. So straight away, we've got a little card in here that kind of shows off the fact that we have two different heads for our T-Rex, and similar probably to the last T-Rex that we had from W Dragon, where we actually had that awesome old school version of the T-Rex where it had kind of like a magnetic attachment for the head. I'm thinking that's probably what we're going to have going on with this one again. And then on the back of that, you also have a nice W Dragon logo, which this would be pretty fun to put on your W Dragon shelf if you have quite a few of their models. We've also got a base for the dinosaur that he's walking along on here. Really nice looking base with a nice, almost looks like a forest setting, and maybe actually leaving a forest because we don't really have a whole lot going on out here. It looks like we're getting more of like a dirt area, but in here you've got nice sort of like mossy vegetation and stuff, as well as a broken tree. So the base looks really nice, and we've got both of the different heads for the T-Rex, so we just have to pull them out of these little plastic baggies they're in. That is absolutely beautiful looking, honestly. Really think that head sculpt looks great. And then we've got the closed mouth version. We also have lips on the T-Rex, which is super cool, very exciting again to have a lipped version of a T-Rex from W Dragon. Does that get cooler? I don't know. Get these bags out of here. And then the headless body of our T-Rex. Let's actually see if we could just throw it here on the base. Although I can't find the spot. There we go. That actually went on really easily. And then we've got the headless body. And then the head goes right in. And there is our brand new W Dragon Tyrannosaurus Rex. And that is definitely quite beautiful, honestly, here at first glance. I had seen a few images of some other people acquiring them online. And I was pretty impressed with what I had seen. Definitely very impressed with it here in person. I think the sculpt looks great. The paint job is really, really well done. Like, I love the paint scheme they've given it. It's just very naturalistic overall. Again, not super flashy, but at the same time, definitely some elements of flashiness to it. Very realistic, honestly. I think it looks absolutely like it could be the coloration of a living, breathing Tyrannosaurus Rex. So, really excited about this, honestly. This is probably one of the nicest W Dragon models that I've seen in quite some time, and they always hammer out quality, so that says quite a bit, I think, about this one. So let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look at this right now. So I switched the head out for the open mouth version while we're taking a closer look. I just felt like that's probably the better one that we should go with here for our initial closer look. But you can see the head sculpt looks great. They've got some really nice looking skin texture and scale detail. Just generally a lot of really nice fine detail on this head sculpt. And on top of that, there is a ton of color on this. You can actually see quite a lot of different variation of colors. We have different variations of browns and very light tones. You've got kind of like some off-white there in the palette. All sorts of different variation of color down here on the lower jaw, including some pinkish tones that are there underneath the kind of off-white tones. So really nice color variation here on the face of the T-Rex, definitely giving it an extremely realistic and very alive sort of a look. You can see the nostrils are sculpted out. They've even had a little bit of a gloss coat there on the inside of the nostrils, which is something I always appreciate. I always feel like that's definitely a very nice, realistic thing that you can do with your models. Definitely a really nice touch. You can also see how we have some darker tones here running along the jaw line, and then we look here on the inside of the mouth. We've got an extremely nice appearance to the inside of the mouth, very highly detailed. Look at that. That is absolutely phenomenal looking sculpt and detail. And they've also painted it in a really nice way where it highlights all of that detail, as we have like a darker kind of a maybe like a reddish or a brownish wash in there. Definitely a darker wash of some kind that makes all the detail pop really nicely. You can see that even on the tongue right there. And there's also, again, a beautiful gloss coat there for the inside of the mouth. And the teeth look very realistic as well. Honestly, it looks like maybe W Dragon has even upped their game a little bit as far as their teeth go. I think that might be some of the most realistic looking teeth I've seen on a W Dragon model so far. Like, they look like genuine, real animals' teeth. Love the realism of the teeth. But as we lead up here, actually, let's take a nice look here. Oh, wow, look at that. So if we get a nice shot from the front, the T-Rex, let me move the camera back a little bit. It's a little hard to get him because it's so long, a little hard to get him in a perfect shot there. But if you look at it from the front there, it looks like it's just staring right into our souls. Very cool visual right there. But again, you can see, I like how they've kind of given almost like ridges running along this area here, running along the top of the snout of the T-Rex. That's pretty cool as well. But as you look at the eyes, you can see the eyes actually have a little bit of color variation, as there appears to be like some reds, some yellows, and then of course a black pupil in there, as well as a nice gloss coat. You've also got some more reds leading back here from behind the eye. That looks very cool as well. And you can see that red starts to kind of stripe down through the course of the body, down into the neck. You've got some darker tones here as you lead up into the top of the T-Rex. You can also see even like some light browns kind of creeping through the darker tones there on the back of the neck. You've got some larger scaling there running along the spinal column of the neck of the dinosaur. Also some nice tensing there in the neck region. You've got some nice skin folds and wrinkles and stuff as you lead down here into the lower part of the neck, into the throat. You've also got some very cool looking pinkish tones, similar to what we had seen on the lower jaw there. I like that the dark tones also kind of outline the red stripe that we have coming down as well. As you lead down into the body, you can make out the shoulder blade a little bit right there. You've also got those nice small Tyrannosaur arms, nice muscle definition, and you can continue to see how nice the paintwork is. This actually might be one of the nicest painted W Dragon models I've ever seen, although they have very much so increased the quality of their paint apps over the last few years. This is just like honestly beautiful as far as the paint apps go. You can see again as you lead down into the arm, all of the skin texture is really nicely highlighted with a dark wash, which brings it out perfectly. You've got some nice scoots down the fingers there, as well as some nicely painted nails. The nails also have a nice gloss coat to them, which is a plus. As you lead back into the stomach region, you again have some of those light tones here in the stomach, all brought out beautifully. Looks like this time actually maybe with like a dry brushing where they really made all of those scales in the stomach region pop. You can also pick out just how much is going on as far as like skin folds and skin wrinkles and stuff. You can kind of make out the rib cage as well. Even though the T-Rex is definitely very well fed, you can see some beefiness to the stomach region. You can still kind of make out the rib cage, really smooth color transitions, and I love that they've just given it some like really subtle like black kind of spots and stuff here and there, just to add a little more depth to the paint job. You can see the red continues to lead down here, but once it hits the stomach region, it kind of tapers away. And then we also have a nice striping effect up here on the back of the dinosaur, as you can see leading down here along the spinal column. As we lead back here into the hip region, you can see the hips are nicely displayed in the sculpt as well. You can also kind of see like some scoots picking up there, running along the back of the dinosaur. Leading down here, we've got some really nice looking coloration added here, again with some really subtle kind of black spots and stuff here moving down along the front of the thigh. You've also got more of those reddish tones there in the thigh, and you can see even almost like some light hints of greens picking up and some yellowish browns, and then some lighter tones there on the rear of the thigh. Just extremely impressive paintwork on this Rex. As you move down, you've got the kneecap there on the front of the leg, as well as a nice big bulging calf muscle right there on the back of the leg. And then as you lead down into the foot sculpt is gorgeous. Look at how nice that looks. Really nice scoots down the front of the foot down into the toes. You've got more of those kind of like reddish tones or pinkish tones moving down there into the toes as well, which I really like. That is just an all-around gorgeous T-Rex foot sculpt, as well as a gorgeous paint application. And if you look at the inside of the opposing leg, you can see how the toes are picking up off the ground as the T-Rex is taking a step. You've got the nicely painted and sculpted dew claw there. You can really pick out how nice the muscle tone is on that leg from over here. And as you lead up from the thigh into the tail, you can see more really nice skin detail, all kinds of creases and wrinkling and everything going on, showing the movement of the Tyrannosaur off really nicely. And then we lead out the length of the tail. It starts out pretty big and bulky, and you can again see lots of color variation, really subtle, slight variations of color added to this, as well as an extremely smooth transition up to that gorgeous brown that we have up there on the back of the body, leading down along the tail, as well as a really nice soft striping that you can see moving out the length of the tail. Again, the nice dark wash has been applied to bring out all that detail perfectly, and you can see a really nice curve, very elegant curve to the top here of the tail, and again, just adding in even more beauty to this absolutely awesome T-Rex. As we run along the underside as well, you can again pick up on all kinds of variation of color, even more of those pinkish tones and stuff showing up, which I think is a real nice aspect to add to this, because it's something that you probably would see on creatures similar to this. I see it actually in my dog all the time, light pinkish tones underneath his fur and stuff, so it would be not all that out of the realm of possibility to see pinkish tones like that in certain areas. For this side of the body, we've gone ahead and switched the head out, so we can now take a look at the closed mouth version of the T-Rex, and you can again see how beautiful it looks over here as well. Again, they really did a great job of not only sculpting this out, but painting it out. I love that they've even applied kind of like a so I don't know how good it's going to show up there. Nice light wash there running along the lips of the T-Rex to highlight even the darker areas of the coloration. You kind of see that up here on the back of the dinosaur leading down here as well, which looks really cool. Definitely a gorgeous head sculpt with lots of really beautiful detail. As you lead back here, you can again see that red stripe leading down. I like that it perfectly matches up, even though the head's been kind of taken off and replaced, still perfectly matches up right there. You've got those reddish tones or pinkish tones here in the throat region, and they as well match up very nicely. And there is one thing, you can see the seam, of course, where you connect the head, but that's kind of a given. You know, there's not really a whole lot that can be done about that when you're connecting the head and stuff like this, pulling the head off, putting the head back on. You're going to see at least somewhat of a seam. And then as you move down here into the body, you can again see a really nice visual of the stomach over here, because the legs trailing as the dinosaur is walking, so it's kind of giving us a much more open view of the stomach over here of the T-Rex. You can kind of see like the greenish tones over here in the stomach as well. Super nice looking paintwork on this. I just can't get over how good the paint apps are on this T-Rex. You can see the arms are held in pretty much the same position on this side as they were on the initial side. All kinds of incredible skin texture and skin detail over here, with the skin stretching as the leg there is kind of trailing. And again, super impressive, vibrant scale detail as you move through. You can again see the shoulder blade and stuff right there. As you move back into the thigh, you can yet again see the muscle definition. You can see the hip up there. Those really nice subtle kind of black spots and stuff moving down the front of the leg as you lead down. Really nice, elegant look to the foot as it's picking up off the ground, just showing the beauty of this T-Rex. You can see the bends in the toes. Really nice gloss coat yet again added to the nails. Man, I really like the paint apps of this T-Rex. I've said it numerous times, but it is such a gorgeous coloration for a T-Rex, and W Dragon has just added so much color to this. Like, initially I had no idea there was this much coloration to this T-Rex. Like, it's honestly on another level when it comes to a W Dragon paint job. But you can see here as you lead out, again, we have the nice striping as you lead out the length of that really nice tail. Nice, again, curves to the tail. So the T-Rex is awesome. And then we've got the base, and you can see the base sports some nice footprints for our T-Rex to walk on. You've also got some nice kind of almost muddy sort of a terrain here. Again, lots of color variation has been added to it as well. As you can see, all kinds of different tones of browns and stuff throughout. You've also got the kind of mossy greens, nice vegetation here as you move back into this area. Again, like I said, it almost feels like the T-Rex was waiting in the forest and is maybe just taking a step or two out of the woods there, maybe trying to survey the landscape, decide if there's something worth pursuing out there, and or maybe it's just taking a step out as it spotted something already from the tree line there, and it's just kind of making a mad dash out. I'm not too sure, but definitely a really nice setting for our T-Rex, and they did a great job as far as actually sculpting everything out. And again, the paint apps are just as impressive on the base as they are on the dinosaur. There are so many variations of color on the base, even within the greens and the browns and stuff, to really give it a realistic and lifelike look. And then the underside also has a nice, very soft underside, so it's nice and safe to put on wherever you display it. So let's throw it back on the base, and then we're going to get a size. As far as a size goes, for a length on our T-Rex, from the snout to the tail, about 16¼ inches, or around 41 centimeters. And then for a height, the highest point would probably be the back of the neck. Let's bring it in a little bit closer so I can reach it easier. You are looking at a little under 6 inches, or I would say maybe actually closer to about 5¾ inches, or around the 15 centimeter area. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our W Dragon Tyrannosaurus Rex. And you can see that T-Rex definitely has a very impressive size. Muldoon just oddly moved right there, but definitely an impressive size overall. Very nicely sized, where it has a big enough appearance to it that it's impressive, but not small by any means, to the point where it's something that might be missed when someone's viewing your collection. This is definitely the type of model that would stand out in any collection. Then we've got a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus stepping in here for a comparison. It almost looks like the raptor is trying to sniff the armpit of the T-Rex, but you can definitely get another idea of the size here next to these figures. Here is a size comparison next to the Beasts of the Mesozoic 1/35th scale T-Rex, which you can see the W Dragon version is a bit larger. Not massive in comparison, but definitely a little bit larger than our Beasts of the Mesozoic version. Then we've also got a size comparison here with Wilson, the PNSO Tyrannosaurus, next to the W Dragon version, which you can see the W Dragon version yet again is larger than Wilson. Very impressive size on this W Dragon T-Rex. Again, it's not way bigger, but it's definitely a bit larger than the PNSO version. We've also got PNSO's newest version, Cameron, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, here next to the W Dragon version, and you can see these two are actually pretty similar in size, not too far off. The W Dragon version's a little bit bigger, but overall these two are fairly similar in size. And then when it comes to W Dragon Tyrannosaurs, I don't know if it gets more iconic than their initial Rexy that they released, so you can see here again that they are kind of similar in size, but the original Jurassic Park version of the T-Rex is definitely a bit larger than the newer T-Rex. However, I would say the newer one might be a little bit longer. It's hard to really tell, but they're very similar in size. Also a different position for the Jurassic Park T-Rex, as it's a lot more upright than our newer version, but fairly similar in size if you happen to have the older W Dragon JP style T-Rex. I also wanted to show you guys that the T-Rex can stand completely on its own, perfectly fine, does not need the base, so no balancing issues or anything like that with this one. So this brand new W Dragon Tyrannosaurus Rex, the more kind of accurate version, is absolutely awesome. And again, I think they did a great job on every aspect of this release, and something that I had heard other people say is this is more of like, almost like a Jurassic Park version mixed with an accurate T-Rex, but I don't really see it. I see just generally more of like, I guess I can kind of see some slight JP sort of looks to it, but it is a Tyrannosaurus. You know, the Jurassic Park T-Rex is a T-Rex, so I'm going to see similarities between the two. I definitely see a much more accurate take of a Tyrannosaurus this time around from W Dragon. So I'm actually a really big fan of what they did here with this T-Rex. I think they did a fantastic job on the sculpt as well as the fine detail. They sculpted it out in a way where it absolutely has that more accurate look, but added maybe a slight bit of their own flair to it, which I really like as well, because it helps it to stand out and differentiate it from all of the other accurate Tyrannosaurs that are out currently. And on top of that, they've got a nice pose for it, as it's just kind of walking along, and you can either give it the closed mouth look, where it kind of looks like it's just walking along peacefully, or the open mouth version where it looks like it almost is charging. And it's so weird that when you change the head, it almost makes the entire body look different as far as the positioning goes, at least as far as I'm concerned, because once I put that open mouth version on it, I really feel like it looks like it's, kind of starting to charge in. But when I have the closed mouth version, it looks like it's just kind of wandering around looking at stuff. I don't know how they pulled that off, but it's definitely cool. There's also an absolutely fantastic paint job for this. It's probably my new favorite when it comes to any W Dragon release up until this point as far as the paint apps go. They applied a lot of really nice coloration to this, and it is as smooth and natural as it gets. The transitions are fantastic. There's a nice dark wash to the figure to really make it all pop, and on top of that, everything looking through the course of the figure, there's just so much depth to the paint job. There's so much variation of color. It's easily one of the most impressive paint jobs I've ever seen, not just on a W Dragon release, but on a mass-produced dinosaur figure as a whole. On top of that, we've got a really nice base. I like the addition of the base because I always love a base with any dinosaur model. I think it just amps up the beauty of the model, kind of creates a scene and puts you into the moment. So a base being added is also a great touch. So as a whole, this is absolutely awesome. Definitely a huge recommendation from me, and definitely something that I think holds a spot in any dinosaur collection. So if you are interested, I will include a link in the description as to where you can purchase one for yourself. So make sure you check that link, go grab this beautiful Tyrannosaurus, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.